Hello everyone and welcome to the tutorial number 15 in object-oriented programming, where we will highlight method chaining in object-oriented programming using Python. Method chaining is a programming technique in object-oriented programming where multiple methods are called on the same object or of the same object in the same line of code. Meaning that if I have a class that comprises many different methods, we can call all of these methods in a single line on top of each other. Each method within the class must return self, and we will know how can return self, allowing another method to be invoked on it. So each method, when it returns self, that allows the method to be as an object, and we can call the method on the top of this object, or we can call another method on the top of the method object. Let us simplify that by introducing a class calculator as an example, and I will start now with calculator. And in this calculator I will have in the constructor only one number. I will give it as initial value, and this initial value at the beginning will be 0, and I want to store this value to access it later in the method, and this will be stored. So the value that I will enter when I create an instance of this class will be stored inside the self.value. Now, in any calculator, there is a method that adds the default value I will pass to another value that I will enter. So I want to define add method. This add method will contain a number to be added to this self.value. So I will augment the value here by the number. This is a very basic mathematics or mathematical operation. And look at this now. We will return self in this method. So the method must return self. Why? Because by this way we make the add method within the class to be treated as an object, meaning that we can access this object using dot, and I add another method on top of it. Let us add another method in the same way. So I want to define subtract, and in this subtract we will have also the number, and in this method we will de-augment the value by the number. So we reduce the value by number, and I want to return also self, because if I want to call another method on the top of subtract, I need to return self on that method. Also, in a calculator there will be also multiply, and in this multiply we will also add a number to be multiplied or to augment the self dot value, and in this self dot value will be augmented by the number that I will pass. And this should be also return self. This must return self, and in the penultimate method will be divide, and this divide method will also accept a number to divide the self to the value. But here we usually check if the number that I will pass does not equal 0. Then I can execute the operation. So self dot value, this will be divided by the number. And when I use this again, this syntax, this is related to augmented assignment operator. And instead of saying self.value equals self.value plus number, please go back to the beginning tutorials. I think in the tutorial number 3 or 2, you can find more about the augmented assignment operator. And if it if the number will be 0, then I will raise a value error. Okay, don't worry about this expression now, because after finishing the object-oriented programming and data-oriented programming, I will give 2 to 3 tutorials related to exception handling and error handling in Python. Just take it as it. So if the number will be 0, then I will raise this message. And so raise error, just raise a message to you showing that cannot, okay, divide, for example, by 0. Okay, this is just a showing message, and at the same time we will return self, because if I want to add another method on the top of divide, okay, so I will return self. And finally I want to define getter. For me, I want to get the value. Okay, and this get value will does nothing but will return to me self dot value. Yeah, these are the methods, and look at this. The getter now, or the get method, doesn't return self because I want to take just the result of the final operations when we will have. And now I want to, for example, create an instance from the calculator. And as you can see in the calculator, in the constructor, there is one attribute, which is the value, which is mandatory. And I want to, so the value of the default attribute is 10, but I will consider myself, I have at my mind 10. Okay, so I will update the self value to 10. Okay, as we learn together that I can say the result, okay, the result will be, okay, the calculator or the I have to modify this, just calc, and this calc, okay, and this instance, as what we learn together, okay, the instance can it accesses the method within it using dot. Okay, so I can say calc.add, and I want to add 5, and this 5 will go to this method, and the 5 will be added to self.value, okay, which I passed here, which is 10 now. Okay, this is the normal way. But what if I want to add another method in the top of this method? Because I return self here, meaning that this add become an object, and I can also recall another method or invoke another method in the top of this add. For example, I want to divide, okay, by 3. Okay, now if I want to add another method, that is allowed. If I want to get the value directly, is it allowed? Okay, it is allowed, sorry. So I can print the result now, and the result will be 15, okay, divided by 3, because then I passed it from outside, which will become here, and add will accept a 5, and now I have 15. Then I call divide method, and this divide method, okay, now by 3, which will give me 5. Okay, I can do whatever I want. For example, after divide, I can add, okay, I want to add, for example, another 15. Okay, and when I execute this, and as you can see here, we have the object, because I print the object, I didn't call the dot get value, and now we have the value of 20. Okay, so we learned in this tutorial that if I want to call different methods, I have to return self, okay, and I can change many different methods, and I can repeat, okay, as you can see here, add is recall 2 times, and I will also recall multiply, and I will also get the value after that. So this is like a calculator, okay, and this calculator start by 0 value, okay, and at the first instance you have to pass the first number you want to add or to do the operation within it, and then you can augment or update the value based on the operation. But to link this tutorial with the previous tutorial, which is the property decorator, I want to add in in the getter, okay, I want to add the property now, okay. And if you remember why I use a property decorator, a property decorator allow me to recall a function that will get me or will give me the value, okay, to be as an attribute, okay. So no need now to use parentheses here. I just say dot get value as an attribute, so I consider the result is taken from this attribute, and as you can see, you can add whatever you want of these decorators, or you can follow what you follow to have like different functionality at your code. Okay, and yes, that's for today's tutorial, and see you next tutorial.